What have you learnt from your audience feedback? For our audience, we specifically chose teenage girls as our target audience because our film is based in a girls' school. Secondly, our target audience can relate to the characters. For instance, our protagonist Karima is a popular, wild, rebellious girl who likes wearing makeup and missing lessons. As our audience are teenagers, they fall under the demographic table E. This is because they are students or may be part-time working. Furthermore, we specifically chose the genre of our film to be horror because statistics show that horror films are commonly watched by teenagers. In addition to this, our film targets those who like to explore. This falls under the psychography table. We want our audience to be at the edge of their seats and to seek thrill when they watch our film. Therefore, we aim to target explorers. In order to better and improve our work, we gathered audience feedback. This has enabled us to look at our work in different ways and has helped us ensure that the work produced makes sense. Firstly, after we created our script, we wanted to know whether the storyline makes sense. We chose other media students from different classes to provide us with feedback because then we would receive analytical and constructive criticism and due to the fact that they understand media concepts better. One of the scenes had a different lighting and we were informed from our audience that it seemed that the scene were from two different parts. From this we have learned that the colour should be changed and it should be matching all the way. Another feedback we received is the phone scene. We were informed that there should be a close-up of the phone to reinforce the date, which is important because the occurrences happen on 12th of December at 12 p.m. From this we have learned that the date is very important and it should be clearly shown. Also, the audience should know why the character acted shocked by the date, thus the close-up of the phone explains the shock of the character. When our film begins, our protagonist is walking down the stairs. As she is walking down, the voice sounds hollow and echoey, and thus we were informed that it should be recorded again to avoid this. From this, we have learned that the voices should be clear and distinct and should not have a jerky sound at the end. Looking at the poster, our audience liked the clock and slogan Hickory Dickory Dock. From this feedback, we learned that the slogan and the clock should be the primary focus. Thus, to improve the poster, we decided to keep the slogan, however typed it using the digital clock font as well as the title. Our audience has stated,
good because she also put the element of a clock over there to say, oh look, this sort of reflects the nursery rhyme, and I really like it, and I like the clock in Saber's poster because it kind of just shows the timing and basically the concept of what the movie's about.
I really like the imagery of the clock, the way she blurred out all the numbers apart from 12. I like the slogan that she used on top of the clock. It really intrigues me and draws me in as to why she used the nursery rhyme that more. And I think that she should have written Hickory Dickory Dock as well, like Sahiba does.
Secondly, our audience also looked at Rutfa's poster and they thought that either the school nurse or Karima should be the focus. This is an element that they liked on Rutfa's poster. Similarly, they also liked the dark figure and background, as well as the spotlight on the dark figure. From this, we have learned that there should be some kind of supernatural creature on the poster and both protagonists should not be on the poster. Because the first person seen in the film is the protagonist Karima. From this feedback, we decided to add a spotlight on both Karima and the ghost. Likewise, we decided to keep the ghost at the back to show that Karima is unaware of her existence. We put Karima at the front to show that she is being chased and that she is standing in such a way that denotes that she is running from something.
Kind of shadow of the girl and stuff like that because it actually shows the ghost in the movie.
And I like the whole element of shadows that she's also created on her poster.
In addition to this, our audience also informed us that they liked the black background. However, we decided to not use this. Instead, we chose to apply red background. This is because the colour red matches with our colour scheme and also represents danger and terror. The feedback we received from the trailer is the fact that we used sinister music and it was a good sinister music and the audio was clear and good. However, what could be improved is the fact that the narrator should say coming soon and towards the end of the trailer there should be silence and there should be a bang to illustrate terror and panic. From this feedback, we decided to take on the silence and coming soon aspect because the person who gave us the feedback, she is a media student and has provided us with constructive criticism, which has helped us choose this. We have also learned how to make the trailer more interesting, and thus we added silence at the end, and then we added a bang as well as coming soon to make it more suspenseful.
Just before the scream, have absolute silence, have the name, and then have coming soon to cinemas on the 12th of the 12th. I think, yeah, I would watch it with that.
Our audience stated that
your film 1212 has very good use of camera shots. It has a great story and very informative. But the only thing I'm not comfortable is about the characters. You have Emily written on the top of your script, but you don't have it next to every speech, so I don't know who's talking. But
I don't think you should use the part where you say clock struck 12 because the original rhyme is the clock struck 1. So I think you should just leave that out.
from this feedback, I have learned that it should be clear to see when each characters are speaking. Thus, to improve that, we have changed the colours so it would be easy to distinguish between each characters. Secondly, we decided not to add the clock struck 12 because the original rhyme is the clock struck 1. From this feedback, I have learned that it is unnecessary to add the clock struck 12 because it does not make sense. Furthermore, in order to create an interesting and yet a unique storyline, we decided to ask our audience what they thought of our narrative. They replied that
maybe the ghost, the bad one, wants something, so he's doing it, or she's doing it for a reason. Like it wants, so like, you know, something like that. Like,
So there's a purpose for
yeah, like that in Insidious, he wants to get the boy's soul so he can roam out or something.
from this we have learned that there should be a purpose to why the ghost is evil. Thus we added in our story that the ghost wants to warn the protagonist Karima that the demon wants to kill her. This was the purpose. In addition to this, I asked 3 questions to my target audience using the social network WhatsApp. They replied that horror films shouldn't include the usual cliché storyline, and that storylines should not be prolonged, hence should be concise, yet should have the correct amount of suspense. This feedback has taught us that suspense should be created throughout the film, which we created with sound effects and with the chase between the protagonist and the ghost. Similarly, 100% of our target audience informed us that their favourite subgenre is supernatural. This has further helped us to choose to film supernatural horror films. Moreover, I conducted a questionnaire before we created our film to help us understand what our audience mostly like. We learned that the protagonist mostly lives. Thus, this has helped us come to a decision regarding our main character, and that the main character should die, which would be quite interesting and different to see. Thus, this feedback has helped us make our storyline more interesting and has enabled us to fulfill our audience's wishes. Finally, using the uses and gratification theory, it is clear that the audience fits under the personal identity aspect. This is because our protagonist Karima is firstly a teenage girl. Secondly, she goes through many obstacles in order to stay alive. Thus, this relates to our audience because our film targets teenage girls and they can relate to the character's behaviour to try and escape even if the ghost is trying to help them.